Guys, we are so close to the end. I can't even, we're on page 251, chapter 31. Allie's perspective of Tone Deaf by Olivia Rivers, which I'm sure you know at this point. And if you're new here, go back to the very beginning of this book. It is for older people, just saying, and you can totally see my reflection in the window. I'm currently in our car, and it's 9 o'clock, which isn't even late, but it's dark out. It's been super rainy. We're currently in Maine. Me and my family are traveling around. Anyway, we're not here for that. If you want to hear about that, go to my A Nomad's Journey vlog channel. I should probably link it down below. Probably. Anyway, let's just get into this, guys. We only have 25 pages left, which I want to finish it tonight, but I think that we'll have to finish it tomorrow. But we'll see. And it won't even matter. No one's really... We'll get to it. Anyway. Let's do this. I'm going to put this on my head. Actually, I'm just going to hold it like this, because I don't know if it'll get my voice good for audio if you can't see my lips, and then it doesn't really know how to process it. So, we're going to go like this. Oh. Okay, guys. I just dropped it. That was page 251. If you don't have a physical copy, I don't know where you are. So don't blame me. Just look up chapter 31. Do Control F. Okay, guys. Allie. Jay stumbles into the RV around 12:30, and I immediately know something is wrong. His steps are heavy and uneven, like he's drunk. Wasn't he supposed to get back way later? He heads straight to the room with the couches where I've been waiting all evening. He texted me earlier not to bother staying up for him, but I've never been very good at listening. I've been an anxious ball of nerves ever since Tony found me, and since there's no chance of me getting sleep, I want to spend every moment I can with Jace. Those plans go flying out the window as soon as Jace steps closer. In the dim light of the lamp, his skin gleams with sweat, and the whites of his eyes are red. I jump up from the couch and run to his side, wrapping my arms around his waist to steady him a little. He's so unstable, and I'm afraid he's going to topple right over. How many did you have? I demand. It seems really weird that he's drunk. He never drinks, never ever. He's made that more than clear. Jace blinks at me a few times and squints like he can't figure out what I'm doing in his RV. What? How? How many what? His words are slurred and it's really nearly impossible to read his lips. I let out a frustrated sigh and guide him toward the couch. He's totally, utterly smashed. Tomorrow morning is not going to be pleasant. Drinks, I answer. How many drinks did you have? He frowns deeply. Drinks? None. Never. Come on, Jace. You're beyond drunk. How did you even get back like this? Taxi, he murmurs. He groans and squeezes his eyes shut as he leans back into the couch. Light. What about it? I ask. Off. I roll my eyes and getting really sick of these one-word answers, but I flick the light off. I'm going to get you some water. Just stay there, okay? You'll fail if you get up again. You'll fall if you get up again. He just squeezes his eyes close tighter, and I have a feeling that I don't have to worry about him moving for a long time. Shaking my head, I head into the kitchen and grab a cup for him. I force in a couple of deep breaths, trying to ward off my urge to try to lecture Jace. Sure, I hate being around drunk people, and sure, Jace knows that. But if he wants to pollute his own body with that crap, I have no right to tell him he shouldn't. Although I do have the right to be really upset with him. After our run-in with Tony, I could really use Jace's comfort, not his drunken mumbling. Why did he have to pick tonight of all nights to get smashed? As I'm filling the cup with ice, a strong vibration runs through the floorboards. I curse in frustration and hurry back toward the couches. Jace must have fallen. Idiot. Couldn't he have just stayed put like I had asked him to? I open my mouth to scold him, but choke on my words as I enter the living area. Jace is sprawled on the floor, convulsing. Every part of his body shakes violently. His eyes are open, but they're rolled back and staring at nothing. For a long moment, I just stand there, unable to move. Horror takes over my body and freezes my veins, rendering me useless. But then I realize I can't be useless. I need to help Jace, and that means fighting my terror and doing something. I step toward Jace and collapse my knees next to him. and collapse on my knees next to him. Blood seeps from his mouth, and I realize his shaking has made him bite his tongue. I desperately rack my brain for first aid skills I know about seizures, loosening clothing around the neck. Don't try to hold the person down and call 911. I swallow hard. If an ambulance comes, they'll see me, and they'll turn me over to the police, who'll drag me all the way back to Los Angeles. But it doesn't matter. I'm not just going to leave Jace like this. He needs an ambulance, and he needs one immediately. Darkness. I carefully remove his phone from his front pocket. His convulsing arm slams into my knee, and I shriek, shocked by how strong it is. Dang it. He's shaking a heck of a lot harder than I thought. I pick up the phone, and for one uncertain moment, I almost drop. And I almost try calling 911 myself, but I won't be able to hear the operator's questions or any medical direction she gives me, and I'm using a cell phone, so tracking the location on it would take time I don't have. Shoot, shoot, shoot. This isn't going to work. Take a shuddering breath, forcing myself to calm down. I can do this. I know I can. I just need to get someone over here to make a 911 call. Opening up Jace's messages, I quickly spot a group text thread that includes all members of the band and Tony. My heart pounds desperately as I open the thread and shakily type, Jace having seizure. We're in his RV, call 911. After I make sure the text goes through, I turn my attention back to Jace. His shaking isn't stopping, my vision blurs, and it takes me a long moment to realize I'm crying. I don't bother to wipe away the tears. It's going to be okay, Jace, I whisper. I don't know if he can hear me, or if he can even understand me through my tears, but I can't hold in the words. It's going to be fine, okay? Everything is going to be perfectly fine. I repeat those words over and over again, just like he did for me that night I woke up from the nightmare. His shaking slows and then stops, but his breathing is weak and his eyes remain glazed and unseeing. I reach out with a trembling hand and trace his scar from the tip to the base. I love you, I whisper. I know it makes me crazy, but I love you, okay? So hang in there, please. I'm vaguely aware of strong arms wrapping around me, and for a single moment I feel relief. But then I realize the arms don't belong to Jace. They're too rough and too skinny. I struggle against them, but they just keep pulling me back. I blink to clear my vision and look up to find Tony staring down at me, his eyes wide with panic and horror. Tony yells something, his mouth moving exaggeratedly as his fingers dig into my shoulder. I keep struggling, wanting to be back at Jace's side. Then 3 men in paramedic uniforms burst into the RV with a stretcher. Flashing red and white lights seep from the window, illuminating Jace's pale skin in sickly colors. The paramedics quickly load Jace onto the stretcher and hurry him out of the RV. Tony stops trying to restrain me and strides after the paramedics, his face a mask of fear and confusion. I try to follow him, but then a police officer barges in through the door. Tony points at me and snaps something. The officer's eyes grow wide as he recognizes my face. I run after Jace. I can't think of anything else to do. And I make it outside just as they load him in the back of the ambulance. The vehicle seems huge and the men around me are too big. I want to run away to somewhere I don't feel so small. I want to run to Jace. I never feel small when I'm with him. A pair of hands grabs my shoulder and turns me around, and I find myself staring at a cop. He gives my shoulder a rough pat of reassurance and starts guiding me toward his police car, which is parked right next to the ambulance. I struggle against his grip, and then he does. And when he doesn't let go, I punch him in the stomach. That surprises him for just a moment, and I manage to wiggle out of his grasp. I sprint toward the ambulance, but just then the back door slams shut, and the vehicle takes off toward the hospital. I'm left standing in the dust. It kicks up, coughing and crying. The cop grabs me again and hauls me to his car. He's talking to me and growing increasingly agitated when I don't answer, but my head is spinning too hard to read his lips. My throat feels too tight to form any sort of expression. I don't see Tony anywhere. He must have climbed in the ambulance with Jace. I numbly allow the cop to guide me into the back of his car, and the moment I sit in the cold metal back seat, I realize it. Everything is over. that is the end of chapter 31, and I totally scared myself by locking the doors. I was like, oh! Anyway, that was... didn't y'all think at first that, like, he, was just so upset by Tony finding out that he, like, drugged himself? I'm not drugged himself, but, like, got super drunk because he just couldn't handle all the emotions. Then he has a seizure, and, like, there's a little more behind it that we'll find out in ones to come. I'm going to read one more chapter so that you guys aren't left hanging. We're so close. Oh my goodness. It's like 40 minutes worth of reading though. Oh, I want to do it so bad. Anyway, let's just leave it at this for now. Bye guys. See you guys for the next chapter. Bye. Join my audiobook family. Subscribe and like this video below. See ya.